My half-sister and I aren't close because she was born from my mom's relationship outside of marriage. Now she wants to live in my house, but everyone disagrees with me. My half-sister, HS, and I don't have a close relationship. When I was 5 and HS was almost 5, our parents split up because my mom had an affair and had HS. I told my dad about the affair when I was 5. He gave my mom our house but stopped supporting her. My mom didn't take care of me properly because her new partner didn't want me around during holidays. HS didn't like me much because she thought our grandpa favored me. Even though my dad wanted us to get along, I didn't want to be around HS. She also said we weren't sisters, so I never called her that either. When I first joined this platform, my half-sister, HS, contacted me. I don't know how she got my contact info, but she was upset because our mom kicked her out after she got married to someone our family doesn't know. I didn't handle it well. I just hung up on her. Then she started texting me, asking for help because she had nowhere else to go. Her dad cut ties with her, and no one else was willing to help. I live next door to my dad, and HS lives about 6 hours away. She kept calling, but I told her we're not really sisters and that I couldn't help her. I even blocked her number. Now people from our mom's family are saying I'm a terrible sister and should be more understanding, reminding me that I once faced a similar situation. I'm wondering if I handle the situation with my half-sister, HS, the right way. People online say I did okay, not the bad person, and they're criticizing our mom's family for not helping HS. They're asking if any of them are stepping up to support her. They say I don't owe her anything just because we're related by genes. They also warn about being careful about inviting someone into my home who I don't trust completely. They suggest setting clear rules if I decide to help her. My main question is about repeating the same behavior as HS did. I used to help her when we were younger, but now that we're both 25, I wonder why she turns to me after so many years. I regret saying hurtful things when she was already upset, but I'm confused about the situation. It seems like no one else is helping her, and most of the people contacting me are not close to me. My grandma thinks I should help my half-sister, HS, because of the family helps family idea, but I don't really know her well anymore. She's like a stranger to me now. I'm curious about what others would do in my situation. Update: they brought HS to my house 4 days ago. Before that, HS called me crying, saying our mom kicked her out and she needed her sister. I hung up on her and told her we're not actually sisters and I wasn't going to pick her up or let her stay with me. Since then, my maternal family has been bombarding me with calls and texts. My grandma, who I still talk to, begged me to be a good sister and let HS stay. She gave HS my number and said I have my own house. I've blocked my grandma and everyone saying I should understand because we both were abandoned by our mom. But I don't think it's the same. I told my grandma this, but no one seems to get it. For context, HS and I are exactly 9 months apart in age. She's my half-sister from my dad's affair. My dad lived with her mom until I was 5. Then he found out she was seeing another man when he wasn't around. That man is my half-sister's real dad. My dad broke up with my half-sister's mom and gave her the house if she took his name off my half-sister's birth certificate. When I was 8, my half-sister's mom left me because her new partner didn't want a kid who wasn't his at their family gatherings. My dad wanted me to still have a relationship with my half-sister, but she acted like her dad and didn't see me as her sister. I didn't like being around her, so my dad didn't make me. After a while, my half-sister's family moved away. Her mom lost her job because nobody wants to hire someone who leaves their own child alone at night. I haven't seen my half-sister in 17 years. I only found out what she looked like when I returned home today. She was sitting on my porch with a suitcase and a car. I think my grandmother left as soon as I parked. I didn't get out of the car. I was too angry to even move, and I'm still angry right now. She kept saying she needs me and started crying, telling me that her mom was awful, her dad cut contact, and her mom's new partner doesn't want her in his house. I live next door to my dad, so when my half-sister started knocking on my car window after, I just stared at her. I called my dad and told him what was going on and asked what I should do. Dad told me to stay in my car and call the cops, say I had a trespasser, which I did. I didn't get out until the cops came, and when they did, my half-sister told them I agreed to let her stay, and now I'm leaving her homeless. I showed them the texts, specifically the only texts I gave in response to everyone demanding you let her stay. Not, do you have the space? Not, she's your sister. Not, can she please stay with you? Nothing but refusals before I blocked people. When my half-sister kept saying we're sisters, I told the cops I haven't seen this woman in 17 years. I don't know her. I didn't even know what she looked like. We're not family beyond sharing an egg donor. I went as far as unblocking my grandmother and calling her. I didn't even get to speak. She yelled, "I love you, but you need to get over this. She's family and she needs you. And I told your father you'd go to hell if he raised you to be so damn selfish, and you definitely will because she's going through the same thing you went through. She hung up right after, and I told the cops they can book my half-sister or drop her at a shelter. I don't care, I just want her off my property. They took her, and now I'm sitting here on my dad's couch wondering what the hell just happened. He doesn't want me staying alone right now in case they show back up. I'm so pissed right now. I don't get it. 17 damn years of no contact. I only speak to my grandmother on holidays. I don't know most of the aunts and uncles and cousins that blew up my phone. But because my biological mother pushed me out, I have to do what they tell me to. I'm 25 years old. I've only had my dad and my dad's family for years. My biological mother and her family haven't done anything for me. None of them even know when my birthday is because even my grandmother texts me on the wrong day. Not even a phone call. If my half-sister needs help so badly, one of you should help her. I don't know her. I don't know any of you either. I'm not letting a complete stranger into my house. And 6 hours is too far to visit when I had surgery, but not too far to try and force me to do something. Comments. Hawkeye in DC. This is crazy. Why is no one on the maternal side stepping up? And how old is this half-sister? It also just seems so bizarre that your maternal grandmother would drive a 12-hour round trip to basically ditch your half-sister with you. Ope. She's 24 to 25. Her birthday is close, I think. And it is crazy that she drove down here. I know there's far more to this situation and I really don't want to know. I just want them to leave me be. Hall in DC. I know you don't plan to let her move in with you, but don't ever change your mind on that. She'll likely never leave, won't pay rent, contribute towards costs, and you'd have to legally evict her. Save yourself the headache. Oop. The nightmare of an eviction process is part of why I don't like the idea of anyone staying with me tbh. It's 7 nights in a row here for guests to become tenants, and the one time a friend of mine let someone stay with her, 1 week turned into 6 months of court hearings and damaged property. Definitely going to save myself the headache. Update 1. They dropped her off at my house. I checked the camera footage last night / this morning. My half-sister and my biological mother's mother had been looking under mats, rocks and potted plants, the mailbox, and checking the doors, probably looking for a spare key. I don't keep one on my property, and my dad, grandma, and grandpa have keys they keep with theirs. My uncle did an overhaul of mine and dad's cameras. We now have ones that send notifications to our phones when motion is detected. Also got Ring doorbells for the front and back doors. There are other features, and all the cameras are better hidden as well. I went to the police department while he was doing this and brought my grandpa with me. My half-sister was booked for trespassing but not held very long since my biological mother's mother picked her up from the station. They stuck to the lie of me offering my half-sister a place to stay and gave statements. Not sure how that's going to go, but I'm taking steps to protect myself, my property, and my dad and his property. My half-sister doesn't have a record beyond this, so this was her first offense. I don't know how I feel about that tbh. It sounds awful, but I had hoped she would have at least one prior because commenters make it seem like that would make the outcome of a permanent row into favorable. BM's mother does have a record, though, harassment, trespassing, and domestic violence. I shared this with the police as well. Either way, I was able to get a temporary restraining order today, so there's that. I gave the camera footage to the police alongside copies of the texts printed out and on USB, gave a statement, and they called a judge to get the TRO issued. I talked with them about other things like self-defense recommendations, overhauling my security system, getting a gun for protection, and so on. I was really anxious and just kept talking because it finally hit me that these people know where I live and they're willing to make the 6 hours to harass me and get inside my home. The texts and voice messages haven't stopped. I unblocked and muted. There are direct and indirect threats. BM's mother is adamant that since I have an entire house to myself, a stable job, and no children, I will be housing HS. Or she'd give me the SS whopping my dad should have. HS has only left one voice message about coming over later today and that she stands with me because that's what blood does. They help. When there was no response, she sent multiple texts telling me I need to be more understanding, that she's in a tough spot, and that she's moving in for at least a week until she's able to support herself. It's 7 days to gain tenancy here. Additional clarification for people asking about the age gap. I'm a February 1st baby. HS is a November 29th baby. I say exactly 9 months because I'm not counting the weeks and days, just felt that people knowing we're the same age was relevant, and gave context to why I have no relationship with her. I don't know if she was premature. I never asked, TBH. And there are people saying they have similar gaps around them. So I have nothing to add. Multiple people also asked if I hate HS, and that I sound resentful for things she said as a child and for things her parents did. In my first post, I talked to someone in the comments and admitted that had this been a few years earlier, I may have helped HS without much thought. I know as children she was just parroting her parents. I don't fault her for that, nor do I blame her for BM abandoning me, but it's been 17 years. We've been legal adults for 7 of those years. She could have reached out at any point but didn't and said she had no sister. I also could have reached out at any point but also didn't. I just moved on with my life. I was in therapy since I was abandoned, and it took me years to move on from no one on that side actually wanting me. Now she's making herself a problem. BM's mother aside, HS was sitting on my porch with a suitcase, ready to force herself into my home. In life, she allowed herself to be driven 6 hours to my home, sat on my porch for half an hour, and then lied to police. All after I said no multiple times. She never claimed me until she needed something. And now she's forcing herself into my life on the basis of being family. I don't hate her. That's too much energy. But I do resent her now, alongside her grandmother and the rest of her family. I was ignored for years, and now I feel unsafe in my own home just because HS and those around her can't take no for an answer. This isn't about BM's affair. This is about HS and her family ruining my safe space, my home, with their crap. The past is a factor in that resentment now because, again, I haven't spoken to her in 17 years. I didn't know what she looked like, but suddenly we're sisters because she needs someplace to stay. I definitely resent that. Also, I feel validated in my choices. Posting to Reddit, asking for and taking advice, listening to my dad. The attorney I spoke to pretty much said all the same things commenters have. Unblocking and muting to get evidence of harassment, calling the cops and showing them the messages because it proves there was no implied invitation. This is apparently the biggest thing I had to worry about because even letting HS stay on my porch could have worked against me. Giving the cops the camera footage of HS and BM's mother looking for a spare key was also a good move. Even going about upgrading security, getting self-defense items, and asking the officers about self-defense recommendations and my wish to get a gun for protection works in my favor. It shows that even though this was HS's first offense, I don't feel safe, and she's a major cause of that. And I don't. So thank you again for all the advice. If they show up like they said, I'm going to set off my security system and call the cops. Edit from a comment. It wasn't active the TR when I posted the update because they hadn't been served yet. They were found at a hotel near my home and were served. My neighbor saw them and called the police. I was reporting the text, though. The TRO was on both HS and BM's mother. Update 3. Concerned cousin on HS was going through the first messages sent to me and found one of the many I muted without reading. This is from a cousin of HS. Note: the order of info was edited to be better understood. A lot was blocks of text, so I tried to put it in order. AP cut contact with HS when she was 20. She covered BM's affair with Rondo. AP stopped paying her tuition and cut her off financially. HS's work history is non-existent. She was kicked out by BM a month ago because she was sleeping with Rondo, and one of his sons said son turned 18 2 months ago. HS came home to hers and Rondo's things on the curb and all the locks changed. Police weren't involved. The cousin doesn't know if BM told the boy's mother, but she did tell the entire family, essentially said protect your kids in marriage. HS claims she only slept with him on his birthday, but BM claims he was a minor when HS slept with him. The family is adamant about getting her somewhere safe to stay long-term because HS is pregnant. No one likes her but believes abandoning her is wrong due to her pregnancy. The cousin expresses doubt about the pregnancy. HS showed GM a positive pregnancy test, but no one else has been given any proof. HS has a history of lying. She couch-surfed with those who don't have kids. So far, she's borrowed someone's car without permission, taken expensive items to pawn, taken money from me for interview clothes and travel, then blew it on expensive mom and baby outfits. When cops are involved, she lies and has gotten someone arrested by claiming sexual assault when they tried to have her removed from their property. The plot to get HS into my house was the idea of an uncle, one of GM's 3 sons. GM apparently brags but also complains about me being young with no kids, a well-paid job, and a house I own. Essentially, this uncle said I had no responsibilities, disposable income, and plenty of room because no one wants to outright abandon HS. This was the best plan. The cousin doesn't give an inch, not even a ride to a shelter. Someone tried, and she caused a scene, nearly got them arrested because she kept lying about the situation. Please read this. I read your 2 posts. Stay safe. Update 4. I'm alive and well. No major updates today. Texts and calls have all stopped. My entire neighborhood is on alert, and the family rotation continues. One of my friends stayed last night, and a different friend agreed to stay tonight. Today we spent with my aunt, the one with a keychain and fisticuff bracelet, and grandma. No one showed up at my house in the middle of the night. I'm following the advice of multiple people, the first being about making an FU binder. My aunt suggested making transcripts of all the saved voice messages, which I think is a pretty good addition to this to go along with the USB drive of them. So that'll be part of what I do today. The second piece of advice I have saved is about documenting every day, even if nothing happens, in a spiral notebook. I started on this immediately. We also be recording when I go to and from work or anywhere. TV8 also, multiple people on the door screws. That was among the first things done. When I bought the house, my windows were all changed on purchase as well. They're impact windows, so it'll take a lot of effort to break them. My uncle has always been big on home safety, so he did all of that with me. Even though I'm next door to my dad and fairly close to the rest of the family, he always says I'm still a woman alone in a house. You can never be too safe. I feel a bit better with all the advice offered. If anyone is having similar trouble, take the advice offered in the comments. It really helped, and I'm grateful for all the help. Holiday vacations have officially been canceled and refunded. Always invest in travel insurance. A lot of stories shared with me have me on edge about leaving my home unattended. My neighbors offered to watch my house, but I'd feel more comfortable being present if something happens. So this year, I'm going to be hosting Thanksgiving and potentially Christmas. My grandma suggested this, and she's getting really into it. So today might also be shopping for decorations. Thank you guys again.